After over 30 years and some delays related to, well, the state of the world, we finally have a sequel to Coming to America called Coming to America, and it is coming to Amazon Prime this weekend. So let's talk about it. When newly crowned King Akeem learns that he has a son, he must bring him from Queens to Zamunda in order to save the kingdom. So the original Coming to America is a film that I've seen many times over the decades, and this film was directed by the director of My Name is Dolomite, an Eddie Murphy film from just a couple years back that I really enjoyed, but long-delayed comedy sequels do not have the best track record, so I went into this one pretty skeptical.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, did it live up to the original, or like so many of these long-delayed comedy sequels, did it disappoint? I'll tell you in just a second, but be sure to join me down below in the comments section. Let me know, what did you think about this film, as well as what's your kind of take on the original one? How would you compare the two once you've been able to watch this one? And with that said, let's get started talking about the good. And the best thing about this movie, and the most important thing anytime you have a comedy, is that it did make me laugh. There's jokes all throughout the film that put a smile on my face. A few of them did get me to laugh out loud. Now, the batting average for the jokes isn't nearly as high as the original. Some jokes don't land, but it's a comedy, and it did make me laugh consistently throughout the film. Also, some of the returning cast are just nice little touches, especially John Amos's character. I don't know, he just felt like he brought a bit of heart into this film in a way that I very much appreciated, seeing the relationship between him and Akeem all these decades later. I thought it was a nice little touch. And unfortunately, that's it on the good, so let's move on to the bad. And the big problem here is that while it manages to find a way to continue the story of Akeem, it doesn't find a way to capture the charm or the vibe of the original, and it doesn't replace it with anything in particular. It tries a bunch of things that don't really stick. And so much of that boils down to the fact that we don't have any one character that we're specifically rooting for in the film. A lot of what made the original film work is it had a very straightforward story about this privileged prince who decides to go to America to find true love, and he's legitimately a good person, and he's willing to do basic menial tasks and mop floors in pursuit of love, and he doesn't whine and complain. He's willing to stand up to his father. When a robber walks in, he's able to confront the person, and so he's a character that you can very easily root for, and you know what he wants and why he wants it. And in this film, we have an Akeem who's older, he's lost his way a little bit, the kingdom is complicated, he's not listening to some people around him, he's in a situation where he doesn't really know what he's supposed to do, and therefore he's not making the best choices.
Not a great plan.
Likewise, that naive charm that he had in the original, where he just had this big gigantic grin while mopping floors and while people are dropping F-bombs in his way, that's not really present in this film. And so the character that's so at the core of this franchise, you can't really root for him like the way you did before. And it's not that this movie needs to exactly replicate the first, but it doesn't replace that journey with something else that's equally entertaining and engaging.
I've made a huge mistake.
Along those same lines, it's a film that utterly lacks focus.
You stay focused.
Sort of the main plot line is kind of like the Princess Diaries except in Africa, but there's so many plot lines and characters that the focus of that gets lost with all this other stuff going on. The movie wants Akeem to be the star of the film, but the son character's the one that's on the journey that's more interesting. But then Akeem has 3 daughters as well that at least one of them has a pretty big plot line in it. And then Leslie Jones is the mother of the son, and she kind of has a journey and a plot line going on.
Why?
There's this whole plot line about a neighboring country with Wesley Snipes that wants to take over. There's so much stuff going on. that you just don't know what to care about and what to feel in situations. And I think a lot of that comes from some just fundamental structural problems where the daughters are introduced in the opening scene, but they're not given any depth. And then 45 minutes later, we're supposed to care about a conflict between them and the son. The son, likewise, is given one scene to introduce his character, but we don't know what he wants, what he cares about. He's just thrown on kind of this journey and adventure. So it doesn't have the payoff as you get to the end of the film and it starts resolving its many plot lines because we don't know enough about all these new characters to care about them. And because of all of that, it led to a scenario where about 45 minutes into the film, I was still laughing a little bit here and there, but I simply did not care about any of these characters or these plot lines, which is frustrating because I think there were some ideas in here that could have worked about this other son and the nature of the kingdom, but the way they executed it and the way they took Akeem, this good-natured, likable character from the first film, and made him so unlikable in this film.
Why would they do this?
It just really soured me on the film as a whole. Real quick before I give you my final score, be sure to join me down below in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the film. Also, there is a companion video to this over on my Sean Chandler Plus channel where I ranked the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy. If you're an Eddie Murphy fan, you definitely want to check that one out, and you can find it right up here once this video is done. While the movie does deliver laughs throughout its runtime, on a storytelling, and character level, I did not enjoy this film. Overall, I'm gonna go with the C-. On the entertainment scale, it's a 5 out of 10, and unfortunately, you can skip this one. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear me talk about 3 Eddie Murphy movies that I enjoy more than this film, check out that Beverly Hills Cop ranking right over there. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much. Bye-bye. Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Ah! Buddy, why are you scaring me?